waiting for this. The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese expected to make the trip to see the Governor-General and call the election. Joining us to discuss today's headlines is National Senator Bridget McKenzie and Independent MP Dai Le. Good morning to you both. Are you pumped? Are you ready? Posters, how to vote cards, are they all printed?
Well, you can't print out how to vote cards yet because you have to draw.
Oh,
you have to wait for the draw.
We're ready. We're ready.
You are ready.
But we're ready.
Yeah, good to hear. Now, Bridget, hasn't the PM sucked the oxygen out of Peter Dutton's budget reply speech with his big call this morning?
Well, I think you've seen the PM trying to be spoiler on Peter Dutton's fantastic speech last night, and that's why tuning into the Today Show is so important, because we've got a really positive plan to get our country back on track, and Peter outlined that, not just our immediate fuel excise relief every time you fill up your car, but a plan to get energy prices down over the short, medium and long term and make our country a safer, stronger place to grow your family and to have a successful life in. And so we've got a great plan to get out onto the streets in communities around the country to really have the conversation with the Australian public, because this election will matter. Every vote will matter in a way that it hasn't before to keep our country strong and get it back on track.
It really did feel like a campaign speech. It was kind of adversarial as well at times. But Dai, if you're re-elected as an independent MP, you might become one of the kingmakers here.
Oh, look, I can't be... let's not be ahead of ourselves, and I don't want to...
tight, though.
It is going to be tight, and I've got to win an election still. It is a marginal seat. However, I know that I have worked the day, you know, from May 2022 till now. And I have to say, can I just call out that I've been pushing for the excise petrol, the petrol excise tax cut, and I'm glad to hear that that was in yesterday's reply budget. But it's going to be a tight election, and we'll wait and see.
Bridget, let's zero in on some of those elements in the Coalition's budget reply. You've pledged $1 billion to critical gas infrastructure, but there was basically nothing on Peter Dutton's nuclear plans. I mean, that seems a bit odd. Why is he distracting from his nuclear policy?
Well, not at all, Peter. We've already announced that plan. It's 44% cheaper than the government's renewable-only plan, and it'll actually set us up for energy security and lower bills into next century.
Bridget,
what we announced last night, Sarah, was we're a country richly endowed with natural resources, and we think, as a coalition, that we need to make sure Australia gets access to those resources first. So our gas policy, before it's exported across the globe, we're going to make sure we've got enough gas getting into our energy system to get those bills down and that reliability up as quickly as possible, and that's what Peter outlined last night.
That's going to rely on cooperation from Victoria, which is unlikely. But just very quickly, Dai, this election is going to come down to three major issues: cost of living, energy prices, and those tax cuts first, the fuel excise cut. Yep,
and cost of living is front and centre of people's mind, honestly. And look, the tax cut, the $5 from the government, that's $5. I don't know what we can buy nowadays for $5, maybe a loaf of bread and maybe milk. But I think that excise fuel tax cut, which I've been calling for, I'm glad that's happening.
Bridget, just very quickly, how does this sit with you that you are no longer the party that taxes, that cuts taxes, that taxpayers will be paying more under a coalition if elected?
Well, as Dai outlined, we announced as part of our budget in reply halving the fuel excise, which is effectively a tax on every time you put a litre of fuel in your car. So by cutting the fuel excise in half, it'll save, you know, a two-car family, you know, $28 a week filling up your tank once a week. So we know that's going to be immediate relief, not 15 months' time, as Dai said, $5. Immediate relief right now is going to be less impact on the budget, and taxes are always going to be lower under a coalition government. We've given that guarantee.
I reckon you've just handed Labor their new slogan, though, party of lower taxes, going into this election. Let's see how it all plays out. We are keeping a close eye on the government.